Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Vanessa Dunn, Guyton, and I am so honored to be here with you tonight. I am the founder and executive director of Hush No More. Hush No More supports survivors when they're ready to come forward to share their story, to get resources, or just to have somebody listen to them. We also provide free training in our communities, to different churches, youth groups, to different organizations, because we believe that awareness plus knowledge equals prevention. So, welcome to Hush No More Champions, where we spotlight survivors, advocates, and nonprofit organizations in our communities and those who are doing the things that we really need to know about, focusing on those hush topics. So, tonight I am so excited because I have Dr. Liza with us today. Hello, Dr. Liza.
Hello, greetings.
Calls herself the military doc. So we have the military doc here with us tonight. And this is going to be a great topic because we're going to be talking about PTSD as it relates to sexual assault and domestic violence. So one of those things that we definitely consider a hush topic. And so we have the expertise here with us today, and she's going to chime in. So tell us a little bit about you.
Hello. So my full name is Liza T. Jones. Most of my peeps just call me Dr. Liza, Dr. J, so I'm cool with any of those. I started off serving in the United States Marine Corps. I served for over 15 years. What led me to decide to exit at the time, I did have rank. I was promoting. I was doing what I wanted. I wanted to be a military psychologist. And so somebody told me about, I was like, ooh, that sounds like fun. Because I wanted to help our peeps. And it really started at the point when we lost one of our brothers in arms and we didn't do anything about it. Marines we don't cry, we don't talk, we just don't. And I thought we needed to give space and time to be able to deal with the things that matter most. And so my journey has led me to training and working towards clinical psychology, have that degree. I've worked on military bases, so I've been on Army bases, Marine Corps bases. I've worked over into the community. I've worked on child protective services, so I've seen that side as well. And that's why I call myself, self-proclaimed, doc, right? And that's what they call me. My most recent stint was on the USS Baham Richard. I provided embedded services, and during a very critique and difficult time that we experienced, one of the largest fires, it was about how do we deal with it and how do we still keep the mission. So that's why you call me Doc. So Dr. Liza.
Thank you for your service. That's so important. Thank you for your service. I won't hold it against you that you decided to join the Marines.
Hey, we won't go there.
But what's so cool is that we are from the same city. We're
right.
both from Stanford, Florida. So to connect, I was so excited that we never knew each other, but from the same hood, like the same side of town. So that is so cool. So thank you. And Doc is also a Hush No More board member. So we are really, truly honored to have her. And she's one of the counselors that provides free counseling for our organization. So how cool is it that we have a military doctor that also provides training, and you don't have to always go to the military. There are other resources outside of post. So it's important that we recognize that. So one of the worst things that we can do is lose somebody to PTSD. We see it all the time in the military, but we really don't talk about it as much as it relates to trauma outside of going to war. People think it's a war thing. Can you talk about PTSD from the perspective, from your foxhole of sexual assault and domestic violence?
Well, it begins with taking away about the post-traumatic stress, right? That's what it says, a post-traumatic stress disorder. Let's just go back to being anxious. Let's just go back to being uncomfortable, depression, right? We get sad. And so when you usually have this critical event that happens in life, often we have a reaction to it. And what we do is we have, in the world of medical perspective, they think, okay, you have a certain amount of time you can get over something or you work through it. And in the space of before we even get to PTSD, you're already just doing adjustment. I'm adjusting to something new. It was acute stress. Something happened. So say we were arguing with our spouse or we had a physical altercation with our spouse. We haven't gotten to the PTSD just yet. We've just gotten to being nervous, we're feeling uncomfortable, but we're still in the fresh early stages of where we're trying to figure it out. Now we get past a few months in that. Now we're like, oh, I got an acute stress. I'm starting to have a little acute. It won't go away. It's not going away even with all the efforts that you place. And maybe you even add something else to it. Maybe you have another incident. Maybe you have a loss. And that perspective is like, okay, now we've reached something that's a little bit more than the beginning stage. We're not quite at PTSD, but yet we're right in the middle and something's creating. And now it becomes more normal in your body, in your physical mind, right? In your thoughts, in your sleep is interrupted. Now it's starting to be more things that's starting to not go quite as right as you would hope. And then that's what leads us down to getting to PTSD, because now this is becoming an acute stress situation for you. Now it's a post-traumatic, it's after the traumatic event, after you've tried to alleviate it, and now you have a struggle and it just stays with you. Now you're more jumpy. Now you may not, now you're not just not sleeping, a few hours a day. Now you're not sleeping at all. And it adds into your being. So your every day you wake up with this. And now you've reached that critical, severe experience that we have to work on, kind of thing. And that happens in all situations.
In all situations, in all trauma experiences, right? Even car accidents, you can have PTSD from.
Right.
I like the way you simplified it. Like, this is just like a journey of our life, of how things start to change. And so that's so simple when it's dealing with the mind, right? I had somebody text me yesterday, and I was telling her that somebody passed that had PTSD, and she said she don't believe in PTSD. Okay. I text back and said, well, I have it. It's real. So people don't believe that this is something that's serious or that it's real.
Right.
What do you believe? Why do you think that?
Well, it's easy to avoid. It's easy to say that can't be a thing, because if in you don't believe in mental health, as in either the good side or the difficult side, then you're not going to believe that somebody can't get out of it. And when we go back to that simple explanation, oh, now we're shaking it off. I had a car accident. Yeah, it was difficult. I've worked through it. I'm okay now. A person that doesn't necessarily say they get in a car accident and then say they're working through it and then say they have a sexual assault. And now they're trying to work through this, but they just had an accident that says, I'm not enough. I'm not good enough. They start having these messages. It's like the world doesn't love me. Then we lean in. So a person that maybe hasn't touched it, they may not believe. Or a person that that really just doesn't believe in mental health concerns would be someone that would speak more from a place of ignorance. And that's not a bad word. It's just saying you don't understand. And then also lacking empathy and care for others. Yeah.
And our society lacks a lot of empathy.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the things that I found surprising, and even in my own life, because I'm a survivor of military sexual trauma, as you know, and of PTSD. I didn't know I had PTSD. I didn't know what it was. And so to me, I was just struggling. Me, I had insomnia.
Right.
To me, I could hear noises and I need to check every door. And I just was very hypervigilant. And oh, well, that was just my norm. The things was happening for so long. That was just my life, you know. And I don't believe that people realize what's really going on with them and that there's treatment and that we can identify them. So what are some signs that people can identify or just kind of relate as it relates to this?
Well, the first thing is your sleep becomes crap. Just like that. The first thing that usually go is your sleep. And why? Is because now your brain is staying active. You're not clicking on and being able to do the rest state. Because how can you rest when your normal is here and you're hyper vigilant? And so you're up here and then you add more to your zone and your sleep is like, hey, for us to sleep, we need to be down here. And you stay up. And so maybe your body is exhausted, so it'll lay down, but it won't be restful and peaceful sleep. Other things along with the sleep would maybe some night terrors or some old memories that keep coming up that are terrifying, and you wake up in cold sweats, those types of things. Other things would be being snappy, irritable, right? We just can't. So our tolerance used to be high. Now it's low. And anything that somebody says, you just can't handle anymore. And you mentioned guiding about, checking doors. Like, so little things that seem small in somebody's view is large, because if you didn't check that door, you didn't have comfortability and safety. So now your safety is gone. Sometimes you might daydream. You could be talking to your spouse and they say something, you're not connected. You say, I didn't hear anything you said. And sometimes that individual didn't even realize they kind of zoned out. And that's kind of some of those beginning signs of what starts happening for someone. Yeah, asleep.
And so I can zone out on people, right? I work hard to really pay attention to what people are saying to me some days.
Yes. Yes.
So when we look at like depression, right? How does that fall into when we say we have PTSD? How does depression or your moods are affected by it?
Right. So ideally, if you just take that PTSD or any stress-induced experience is either going to give us over anxiousness, right? That we'll call it this activity, or to take us down and we won't have as much activity. We have a I don't want to. The shared space between the two is the thoughts that you have about yourself, that your very negative thoughts usually. I'm not enough. I can't believe I've done these things. Nobody cares about me. Nobody loves. So what it does, it diminishes your view of being able to actually want to function in the world. So kind of that disassociation or kind of checking out, zoning out, it can happen because then you might want to go in your bed. You don't want to get up, right? And so it plays together in just how you might be experiencing the roller coaster, because it is a roller coaster, and that's how depression shows up, because your body can't stay in this state forever. It gets worn out. And the opposite of being overly active is to be underactive, which will equal depression.
And it becomes your normal.
Oh, yeah.
You don't even realize that something is wrong because this is your every day,
Absolutely.
It's your everyday.
And if you're functioning, one of the things that showed up, Dr. Guyton, was that when you're anxious, like I always use that as an example, the military love anxious people. Why? We get things done. And I put a we in there because you get hyped up, you're ready, you're motivated. They say, okay, that person's motivated. Inside, you struggling. But it's enough energy that you have to get through something. And they give you rewards for it. And so then you continue on in those activities. The depressed person, they come in, hey, how you doing today? Yeah, I just don't feel like it. You're like, you're the Debbie Downer. Oh, you the soldier, you the Marine that don't want to ever do nothing. And it changes the perspective. And in the military world, both of those show up, but one is honored a lot easier than the other. And it's interesting that most people go to the higher level because it gives you energy. But often you go home and you're on the other side. You're tired, you don't want to talk, you don't want to do.
I call that the mask. You go to work every day, you get up, you do what you're supposed to do, and then you come home and you isolate. And you're just by yourself. You might be drinking, you might be doing some type of drugs, but all of that is occurring in your own.
Sex too. Going out there having like all types of stuff, whatever makes you feel a little better. Just throwing that out there, everybody.
So, and that's a good one because you might have very high sex drive, or you might not have it
none.
At all.
That's right.
Trying to find a balance for that. And a lot of times we see that with the military sexual trauma in general, with domestic violence. Like you don't want to even be in a relationship with anybody after that, And we find ourselves in these unhealthy places that has become our norm. And they really suck. They really suck.
They do. But we have ways that we can heal through it. It's about the healing process.
It's the healing process. Sometimes I meet people that don't think that they can heal, that life can change, that life can be better. This is just where I am. This is how my life has always been. They're hopeless, but the healing process, right? So when you're working with clients, what does a healing process in general, because I know everybody is different. When you're working with healing, what does healing looks like for you when you're working?
Well, the first thing is, as a provider of this space, I have to be ready to receive what you have to come in with. So there's very few things that I'm not able to handle.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that, bring all of it. There's no judgments here. I'm extremely empathetic. I'm flexible. I meet you where you are. And that person may come in and they say, well, I have a sexual trauma. And I said, okay, is that where you want to start? Or is there some other things that's led you to come to the office? And it often starts with this narrative. They're telling their story to me, and I'm open and willing to listen to it. But the greatest thing about me that I feel like one of my blessings is I don't forget. I remember. And that didn't mean I wrote it down. I remember who you are and what you have to give. And so I start seeing those strengths in the person. I start hearing if they say I'm not enough or nobody's ever going to love me. I want love, but I'm not lovable. Why do you believe you're not lovable, right? We challenge that kind of experience. So I start there. And then next thing you know, the rapport building that I have with them, they end up trusting me. And then they're able to give all of those things that are deep down in them to my opportunity to help them heal. So it really does start with the connection with your provider, therapist.
So what do you do when you don't like your therapist? You don't
right.
Like how do you handle it? Because everybody do not meet you where you are.
Right. I have heard some things. And I say this, each person in the world has a place. And just like a therapist, we're just humans. And so you as an individual that's seeking a service, you're allowed to choose. You don't have to stay. Even if you're in the military and you got that uniform, change your PCM provider request. And the reason I say that, you have a choice. You should never feel like you're forced to do anything. That's what got us here, a situation that was not our choice. And so now we have a choice, so use that. So yes, you can change therapists and shop around if you need to. I've been interviewed. People are like, oh yeah, I'm on my third interview with a therapist. I say, okay, well, cool. I hope that you find what you need, because it's not about me.
And I think that's important, because people will say, well, I've been to therapy and it didn't work. Mm-hmm. I didn't like it. I didn't get nothing out of it. Oh, right. Say, don't give up. You haven't met the right one. Or when people call Hush No More, I'll say, well, we have two therapists, right? Mm-hmm. I'm going to tell you how I describe you in a minute. So I'll say, we have a therapist that she is our counselor. She's nurturing, right? She's spiritual. She's holistic. You know, she's that loving, gentle person, right? She's the mother, right? And she also has an autistic son, so she's loving in that way. Right. So then we have our other one who is, she gonna tell you the truth. She's straightforward, right? She's gonna love on you, but she's gonna call you on your crap. She's gonna hold you accountable. Which one would you want to try, right? If you don't feel comfortable with them, come back to me. I don't even need to know why, and just say, well, can I switch to the other one? And I'm okay with that. Absolutely. Because I think it's important that you go to the one that meets the needs that you have. And I like you as a therapist that is straight up. You're going to call me on my crap. You know, you're going to say, no, Vanessa, you know, why? You're going to challenge the thoughts that I have about myself that are unhealthy. And I like that about you, even though it's a conflict of interest for you to be my therapist. Correct. I would love for it to happen, but I just like you as my friend anyway. You're pretty cool.
Right, because I still give love regardless.
But I've had like 20. And it took a minute before I could find the right one that understood who I was.
Yes.
Right. And I think that's if you're doing marriage counseling, if you're doing any type of counseling, find the right one that's for you.
Absolutely. You know? I agree. And I don't mind that I've been told, and as I'm gaining my knowledge of what people say about me, direct and caring is usually it, and authentic. And so I'll take it, because I am direct, but I'm absolutely caring. And I have nothing but your best interest. You didn't come here to sit. If you wanted to sit down and chill, then you go to the movie theater. Here we come into work, grow, and heal, where you can be your better version of yourself. Not tomorrow, but starting today. Yeah.
I love it, because healing takes work. Mm-hmm. It is not easy. And I tell people, if you want to work, healing is it. That's where you're going to have to put in some full-time work to get to that next level. And it's almost a lifetime journey. Like, you're always working on getting to the next level. Right. Mike said it's unbelievably important for a counselor to meet the person where they are. So he agrees. And he is in the National Guard, Master Sergeant.
Guard. Okay.
So he truly he can relate, right? He can relate. Right. But I like that you give people options.
Yep.
And what do you say about a therapist that won't allow interviews?
As in, that they're interviewing me and then trying to go to others.
What do you think about that?
I say again, right, this is the business side. Some people are looking to try to build their clientele and they have their reason. But I would challenge them to take a step back and not see it as them. Because if you're doing this job for the right reasons, then your flow will always be. So I'm very non-judgmental. So if that's their flow, just remind the individual that's touching that's telling you a little bit about them and maybe some resistance, and they may not be the fit unless that's your thing. But I would take a step back personally. And I would love for a colleague to tell me, like, hey, you're not letting people, why are you feeling a certain way? Come talk to a colleague about it. You can give me your feelings. I'll keep it in this little box. But when you're with others, the potential patient client is, again, not about us. And if we remind ourselves of that, I won't mind that you're shopping. I'm actually encouraging you to. It's advocacy for self. Why not?
I like it. When do you think somebody needs to go and talk to somebody?
Oh, man.
What is that sign that maybe I need to go see somebody?
Usually the sign comes a little later and other people are telling you that you need to go see someone. Other people are telling you. And other people could be family, right? It could be your significant other. It could be a doctor that you're seeing that you've trusted. But in yourself is when you have things you want to talk about and you really feel like you're not able to get that additional challenge from your friends. Because a friend is there to be a friend homie. Their job is to make sure you feel good too. They support you, but they want to, you're right. Yeah, you're right, girl. That was wrong. But and the other side of that is I'll support you in that, like, what do you need? Do you need me to support you like your friend homie? Now, I don't need that today. I need somebody that's going to challenge me or somebody that knows it from a professional land and it wants to help me. So I think within yourself, it's about knowing that you have someone that you can go and speak with that is protected information, right? Majority is confidential. And I say that with a purpose because abuse and certain things, child abuse, other things they breach confidentiality. But all that other stuff is able to stay there. And you don't have to worry about your business being in the street or on Snapchat. Just saying. So, yeah, I think looking at yourself and knowing what you need. Yeah.
I feel like I have needed a counselor sooner than later. And when I realized that was, one, sharing how I felt with a friend, and they didn't give me the answer that I needed. Then I was like, I shouldn't have said nothing, right? So sometimes when you just need to share something, I think that's when you need to go see a counselor.
Right.
That's that time that you need to reach out and see somebody because you can't talk to everybody about what's going on with you. And they don't know how to respond. A lot of times our family and friends don't really know how to respond to us or understand what we've been through. And so that was the time that I felt like, you probably need to go see somebody. The other times was when I was really breaking down and not realizing it, crying and just very emotional. And that's what it looked like for me. And I'm very transparent. Like I have been on a journey. And so I share my journey.
Right. So, which I think is awesome. Because it takes a lot of courage to not only go through the journey, but to share then your journey. And so that too is its own story. And most of the individuals that I had a chance to encounter, that's what it turns into. There's like, I get to share this and know that I'm helping somebody else too.
Yeah.
So altruism to it.
To me, it's therapeutic. That's why we give a platform for survivors. I think it's very therapeutic when you're ready to be able to share. Or share with a friend. But I knew that I needed help and I just wasn't sure where to start. And what was crazy is like, I'm military. So you can always find a therapist, a counselor and all of that, but it just wasn't.
But they're not all good. I'm just saying.
Good. Right. Everybody's not good.
Everybody's not. Just because they show up there, whether they're in uniform or outside civilian, they all are not the same equal. So again, you get to shop around. You can shop around and advocate for self.
Can you explain the difference between a psychiatrist, when we say therapist, counselor?
Yes.
Can you explain the difference, or maybe who should you go to and how that works?
So let's roll with it. So starting off with psychiatry, a psychiatrist is an individual who has their medical doctor license. And so what they did was when they went to medical school, they ended up doing additional training very specific to mental health and medication. And so they're looking at your entire body, mind, and how it connects, because they want to make sure, say you have high blood pressure, certain medication might not go. Say you have diabetes or you pre-diabetic, certain medications may not go for your mental health or psychotropics. A psychologist, they too are doctoral level. They've gone and did extended training, and they specialize usually not just in talk therapy, but they also specialize in assessments. And assessment is talking about sitting down with you, finding out, hey, I've been struggling. I'm wondering if I'm bipolar. And this person can sit with you, do an interview, and actually note these and get to know you and write a report about you, where you can share that report with others. The next level in that, while the psychologist and the psychiatrist both can provide therapeutic experiences, often the psychiatrist is on a limited amount of time. So they may do 20 to 30-minute checks. Now, those old schoolers, they don't care about that. And what I mean by old school, I'm talking about the ones that went to medical school back in the 70s and 60s. They say, no, I'm supposed to know my person. I'm going to sit with them. I'm going to get to know them as a psychiatrist. But most of our medical model now, they only have 20 to 30 minutes. So often they're checking on your medications and if you need medications. And they'll say, hey, go to your psychologist or go to a therapist. And that psychologist therapist will be the one that sees you multiple times in a month, weekly, sometimes twice a week. It matters on what's happening for you. The next level in that is a master level clinician. And we have many of those. A master level clinician is someone who has their master's and they also are licensed in the state on which they're performing the service. And so they focus in on providing therapy. You might have social workers, you'll hear that term, licensed marriage family therapists, you'll hear licensed professional counselors, you'll hear licensed mental health counselors. All of those fall into individuals who have a license in that state. And so those are kind of the differences. And the word counselor just really matters on what you want to call them. Some people are therapists, others say counseling, some say coaches. At the end of the day, I am what you need me to be. But the one thing you know is my credential to say I'm certified to provide you the service.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned coaches. So all coaches
are not equal.
Do counseling. Yeah,
that is right.
So when somebody has a coach, you have to be careful. And this is my opinion. This is what I'm saying. You could tell me what your opinion is.
Yes, please.
That they can't advise you on your mental health. They're really talking about your journey, your career, your lifestyle, your journey of living. But when it comes to your mental health, that's not a coach. And coaches shouldn't be discussing that with you. They should refer you to somebody.
Unless they are, that key thing I said, they went to training. Yeah. They received a credential that is licensed in a state that they're serving you. And then on the other side, I'll add like substance abuse counselors. They get certifications. Sometimes they may not have a master's, but they have a bachelor's degree. But they do certification and experiences a little bit more. So you want that person with certification and also license. And license in the state, that means you're protected. That means you can report them. There are laws and ethics that they have to follow. While life coaching itself can be blended with those specialties, when it's set alone, it is a different service. It's absolutely a different service. And that person is just going with you, as Dr. Guyton said, with your journey. And they can just talk to you about your life. Right. Yeah.
So I will tell you this. My psychiatrist at the VA, he only gives you 15 minutes.
Hey.
He's going to go medication. That's your 15 minutes of fame, really.
And he's serious about it. He's like, I got more.
He was like, all right, well, let the nurse know that you need to make another appointment in 6 months. You know, he sees me every 6 months for 15 minutes. Right. So it's like, okay, you better go see your counselor because this is not your psychiatrist. And they are very busy. So you're
Yes,
right.
yes.
You're right about that. Can you talk about some treatments that are common for PTSD?
Okay. So often, if it's a blend of with substance, if we have a comorbid space going on, that means two things are happening simultaneously. Usually a person will get their beginning treatment for the substance because you cannot treat the individual for their PTSD if they're actively using something. And so following that, PTSD, they have many empirical based therapies. Often people heard the good old term CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. But specifically for PTSD, we start getting into a little bit of prolonged exposure therapy where you're working through that traumatic event. Models like I use EMDR. That's also where you use the eye movement desensitize and reprocessing kind of experience, but it's getting into the body. It's getting into your thoughts. It's blending into the feelings that you have. And we're working through that stuck memory that keeps showing up and trying to process it. Other informed care may lead into what's happening with that individual because we have some people that are disassociated and they can't ground. So we might start off with basic things like mindfulness, hypnotherapy, because this helps your body to start relaxing. Because a lot of our experiences now has been based off of being stressed. This is the only way I live. So you have no idea. You can't even remember the last time you actually rested. And so those are some of those beginning stages of some of the treatments available, along with medication. Um, Medications are large in PTSD and also stress and anxiety provoking disorders. And so they'll give you a medication that fits what your need might be. And so you can have that simultaneously that stops you from being so stressed, get your neural balance back. So now your transmitters are starting to say, okay, we can slow down. We don't have to do the work by ourselves in combination with your talk engagement therapy with that individual. Yeah.
You know, I can remember not remembering the last time my life was normal. Like, the last time that I would sleep or the last time that I didn't have a drink or, you realize that your life has become this different set of norms that's really not normal, that you don't have to live that life.
That happens slowly. It happens slowly, but consistently.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I could see that.
Yeah. It does. You don't spiral immediately. It's not I just got here. Mm-hmm. It's and it's moving slowly, kind of like the ship. It does this slow turn, and next thing you know, like you're saying, Vanessa, that, how did I get here? How I'm at the bottom of the bottle in the middle of the night when I'm supposed to go to work tomorrow. I only got 2 hours before I have to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And trying to cover up the memory, those flashbacks, the nightmares of sexual trauma, of domestic violence, being hit, all of that comes back.
Yes.
Memories come back. And so I can see how somebody's trying to get through that.
Right. And it stays like a wheel. And that's why you start getting the processes like PE, prolonged exposures, getting into EMDR. It's helping to get that memory unlocked, getting past. It's not about forgetting about it, but taking it from being here in front of you, blocking you, to a narrative memory that you remember, but it doesn't impact you quite the same. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the body keeps the score.
Yeah. Every time. I was wondering, what do you say to individuals who do not believe in therapy? They do not, definitely don't believe in medication, or what do you say to people that, there's a lot of people in our community and surrounding community that just do not believe in any type of therapy? How do you explain that?
I think that they look at what they consider supportive and what they do in that supportive state. Let's use church, for example. Often people go to the church. They'll end up talking with individuals. They always feel better because it's a community. They'll go to the pastoral, part of it, and they'll talk about their things. Guess what you was just doing? You were talking about your experiences, and it just so happened to be with the clergy. So I believe people find outlets, they just don't want to connect it with a professional. Because if you say it's a professional, then they call me crazy. And I'm not crazy. And the reality is, no, you're not. Actually, you're strong. Actually, it takes a lot of effort and courage to step outside of something that others may not always understand. But the greatest gift you can get is leaving out of someone's office and knowing that you are better than you were when you came in. So those that don't believe, I would say look at your support system and see how you're actually maneuvering, because you often are doing some talking, some expression. Going to play basketball, you talking up. You like, what's going on? He's like, yeah, man, I've been down a little bit. Guess what? You was just up there communicating with somebody else that you're not doing so well. Yeah, that's how I see it.
That's how you see it.
That's how I see it.
Do you know so I've been on medication for years, and
Right.
medication works. But I got to the point that I was ready to get off of medication. I wanted to be more
Yes.
natural. So what are some natural remedies that you recommend to individuals? Because some people say, I don't want to be on medication. So what are some natural things that they can do to maybe make themselves feel a little bit better or to get through this journey? But
Right.
I love natural remedies now.
Right. Well, just take note. I don't want y'all to be talking about Dr. Liza told me that I need to go. This is just a communicative space that we're sharing information, FYI. Look, my first thing that we start with is something in the body like yoga, breathing, allowing yourself to relax. That remedy alone has been a part of you since you were born. What is it that we do when we birth babies? We wait and we all hold our breath for what? That cry that they exhale. And often we are not even breathing. So I start with those types of remedies. Taking those breaths, starting to guided meditation, learning what it feels like to stop from being here to like, oh, I can take a deep breath. And that's, I have people that come in the office and say, I can't do that. They'll take a deep breath. It's too much. I said, we're going to work on it. Now they're able to say, take a deep inhale. They let it go. I said, man, I hadn't felt that good in a long time.
From breathing.
Yeah. That is where I start. And then also adding those things like yoga, or if you like to go out walking, right? Add the natural things that your body needs anyways, because that energy is in your body. And getting that body moving helps you to feel better. Release the things that do not serve you.
I love it. So I've tried yoga.
I got you. I take care of you.
Some didn't go right with yoga for me, right? I might need to try it again because I just was not successful with yoga.
We have spoken about this, everybody.
Right, yeah. So I'm like,
I got her though.
Yeah, that's been a struggle for me. But breathing, I have really been working on my breathing. I have been working on meditation.
Yes.
I will tell you all, YouTube have some great guided meditations to help you start. Like it'll say beginner meditation and you can start there. Mm-hmm. And that has been helping me and just being able to focus and quiet my mind. Like,
right.
I never knew how noisy my mind was until I tried to stop and meditate.
Yes.
And then I was like,
some people that can't. They really are at a point where they're not ready yet. I would say it's not that you can't, just not ready yet. And so get a guided, right? Get a voice. You can record your own voice. If you don't like your voice, I'm going to start doing some recording soon. Allow yourself just to relax in the chair. Be supported. Take a deep inhale. Notice how it feels when you take it in. Hold it. Let go. Let go.
So when you come up with that, we need to upload it on the website. At least one.
Right. But you're right. Meditation and learning how to quiet the mind and the body without the interruptions. And then when those negative thoughts, those negative visions, imageries may come, you let them float. You don't need to deal with them right now. Put them in a box or let them float away. We can come back to them. They've been there as long as you've been dealing. We'll deal with them later. Tell them they have no power right now.
Yeah, it's really hard for me to quiet my mind. And so I'm learning. I'm going to have to use that, though, put it in the box. Now, in the car, I have a better chance in a car quieting my mind because I don't listen to the radio or anything. So that's my safe, quiet place. No interruptions, no children, no
Right.
grandkids, just in
Right.
the
And it's
car by myself.
contained. If you think about it, you're in a containment.
Mm-hmm.
And so you feel that and you take that in and it gives you that space. And so then you'll start doing containment like in an open room. Yes, put a container around you. What would it look like? How protected are you? Is it out of stainless steel? Is it clear? Right? We can do so many things with your mind. And our power of our imagery is strong. Yeah. I like it.
I like that. I really like that. The other things I try is herbal teas. Teas have
Yes.
started making me wind down at night. So at night I have a hot cup of tea.
Yes.
And that has really made a big difference in me just relaxing.
Right. And drinking water. Herbal teas are solid. I'm sorry.
I don't like water.
But you need it.
I need it. See how she called me on my crap real quick. Like, what did you say?
And the herbal teas are pretty powerful. And I'm a tea person naturally. And I'm glad you brought it. I'm a tea person naturally. But talk about ginger. Mm-hmm. Think about when you put a little bit of lemon and honey in something. You always feel a little bit soothed. And it's helpful for the throat. And it all comes back into the body. So what you put in your body matters. So when you're going to get that burger at midnight because you couldn't sleep, consider something a little bit more giving to you. Not that you can't have the burger. It's just about you usually probably not going to go to sleep with it. You won't feel good. So having some herbal tea is like, you know what? Positive mindset. Turn on your meditation. I am okay. I am just where I need to be. I am safe. I have the power within me. And I have people that love me. All of these things are truth, even if you can't touch it right now. Mm-hmm. It's about where we know we will be.
Yeah. And speaking positivity into your life and over your life really changes the game. Really changes the game. Change the game for me to not allow myself to say negative thoughts.
Because you are what you think you are, but more so you become and you energize the body to what you are. If you ever notice when somebody's extremely negative, they have tension, they draw in, it's something about them. But when you have a positive person show up and he's like, they always positive. They're like, yeah, everything's good, feeling good, shoulders back. They're like, yeah, I'm making a good, doesn't mean the day was perfect. It just means that they say, even when the day is not perfect, I'm still having the best day I need because it's going to always be better where I place it because I am better every day. Mm-hmm.
Yes, I am better every day.
That's right. I am better every day.
Dr. Liza told me so. I love it. I even have affirmations, and this is we do art therapy on Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time if any of you want to attend. But we've done affirmations. I have affirmations on my bathroom mirror. I have affirmations on my refrigerator. Like I need reminders of just positive stuff to say about myself. And I know that some people might say that's so corny, but man, it really, really works.
And corny to whom? If it works for you, it works. And as you say that, you talk about natural remedies, drawing or acting, writers, right? Getting to your creativity. It draws you back out on who you are, right? Because if that's how you express, guess what? You're starting to express some of those emotions you can't talk about. Yeah.
I like it. I like it a lot. And I feel like what you're saying essentially is that people don't have to be stuck. You don't have to be stuck. You don't have to live this life of trauma, the experiences of trauma and just sitting on you. You can change it. And there's things out here that you can do to live a better life, a healthier life.
Right. If you want it.
If you want it. And if you're willing to put in the work.
Put in the work. But when you get someone that's ready to stand beside you, kind of like those at Hush No More, therapists like myself, we got you. I just need you to show up.
I need you to show up. Be ready. I love that.
You need to be ready. Look, I'm gonna allow you to be ready to show up. I'll help you get ready. Just show up. That's the hardest thing.
Start. Got it. Yep. I got it.
I got enough energy for all of us.
One of the best things ever created, right? I am a tech girl. So Alexa, hopefully she doesn't hear me, is like my friend. And I'll say at night, Alexa, play guided meditation. Mm-hmm. Or I'll say, Alexa, play meditation music. or
Right.
I'll say play it for an hour. So then it's not all night.
Right.
And I doze off to sleep. So that's one of my tricks that I'll give away for free.
Good.
Music.
And if you can't be fancy and trust, maybe you like me, because I'm not saying I don't trust Alexa. I don't even have Siri on. I'm just saying. So with that, you can also get noise machines, right? And it can have a timer on it. Inexpensive. You can have birds, rain, various sounds that allows you to just enjoy. Because I had someone tell me this the past week. They said, I remember when I walked in one of your office for the first time, all I heard was the birds. The birds. And I say, yeah, because I like the sounds of birds. And most people do. You hear them chirping. It's very light, not heavy, and they're very freeing kind of thing. So I agree. Alexa. And then for those that don't have Alexa, we go some old school.
So birds, I always say that birds are singing to God. That's how I look at birds. It's the song, you know, that's right. I love birds too, but my favorite sound is rain on a tin roof. Like, I can sleep to that.
Yes.
Real easy.
Well, also being from the South and being on the East, get that rain comes, is something cleansing about the rain. And it lets you know that it's going to all wash away. And you don't have to worry about it coming back. You are fresh and new. Yeah.
So I'm looking for the recording, for the books. I'm looking for all of that to come because you have a lot of knowledge and nuggets, and I just love it. And just your whole entire energy just makes me feel really good, you know. And I think that's how you're supposed to feel when you go see a therapist. You should feel good and have that conversation going.
Even when it's a tough conversation. Leave with something that makes you be reminded, oh, that's why I showed up. Yeah.
Love it. So we're about 15 minutes left. Is there something that you wanted to reiterate on, or something that you wanted to just share with our audience before we get out of here?
The last thing I'll share that kind of comes up is when we talking about domestic violence, we're talking about maybe sexual assault, talking about PTSD in those realms, along with difficult experiences. I want to make sure everybody pay attention to also that part of stalking. When somebody does something, right? It's about that feeling, that eerie feeling. And imagine that's kind of what you're carrying with you when you have PTSD. This eerie feeling that something's always with you. And I want you to believe that you can be free from it. How we choose to go forth is our choice, not anybody else's. And you do have people that really do want to help. And so use the services that's available. I can't see everybody, but I know there's plenty of therapists that have good energy and they're ready to serve as well. Just never think you're alone. There's always somebody ready to listen. And especially with Hush No More, you got a number to holler at. So namaste and many blessings, and thanks for listening.
Thank you. Thank you. So you have some great comments. I've said, speaking positive in your life and speak life and love, which that is definitely what we get from you. And of course, she just loves Dr. Liza.
Aw, very sweet.
She loves you. Norman had some questions that I didn't want to pretty much get to. He had some questions about childhood trauma and abuse, but I didn't want us to get off topic because I know I have a lot of people that wanted to hear about PTSD. So we're going to come back to you, Norman, when we get a chance. I'm going to let you know we're going to talk about childhood trauma because that is so important.
Right.
And we have to stay true to that and look at childhood trauma. So, and you have PTSD from childhood trauma as well. So that's all of that is wrapped
often up. It's built because of childhood trauma. Because you've been able to try to maneuver through and you've had now this negative experience. So that's a good one. We'll get to that one.
We'll get to that one. Yeah. And you're definitely coming back.
So
we could talk all the time. So I think that is so important to be able to do that. Can you tell individuals how to contact you so that when they're listening to the podcast, I also put it in the chat box, but
okay.
You want me to call
I'm sorry.
You want me to say it or you want to
say it? If you want, it doesn't matter to me.
You could tell
us.
All
right, everybody, look. I'm that lady that I'm great at word of mouth. People show up because their friends have sent them. or somebody says you need to go see her. But I'm building that website, so it'll be coming soon. But in between that, I have a number that you can always reach out to, call, text. It's 619 839-7171. I also have a business email. It's info, just INFO, at Tango Golf India Consulting LLC.com. So if you reach out, I'm usually really great about reaching back out. Actually, I probably reach out every time. So I barely miss you. If I end up missing you, send another message and be like, oh, I want to double check on it. But I would love to chat with you and hopefully get you connected, even if I'm not the one that works with you.
And she takes insurance as well. So if you have insurance, reach out to her. You can reach her that way.
Everybody, I'm based in Cali, though, right now. So Cali and Hawaii. I'm looking at getting licensed in South Carolina. So I got some other things working. But again, we'll help get you what you need.
Because we're about helping people find resources.
Absolutely.
Yep. And I keep forgetting, too, that you're licensed in California and Hawaii.
Mm-hmm. I am.
Forgetting that. Why haven't you gotten a license in Florida? I'm
just by choice, because I didn't know if I was going to be working out of Florida, but they do offer the telehealth. This is that FYI nerd me. They do offer a telehealth cert that I can get. So I was considering doing that. And so I'll be able to see people telehealth from Florida.
Love it. You can use telehealth. Catherine wants to know, what part of California are you in?
I'm currently down in San Diego. I'm doing a lot of telehealth in Cali as a whole. So if you reach out, we'll see what we can do to help.
I love it. As you all know, Hush No More provides counseling. If you have any questions about counseling, give us a call. Our number is 1-888-285-2161. We will definitely.
And it's free, y'all.
And it's free.
Come on. Free.
It is free. So we try to do everything that we can to address your mental health. If it's addiction, whatever it is, if you just need somebody to talk to, reach out, because it's so important. You can reach us on all social media platforms as well. Just tune in and try to just learn a little bit more to get to the next level of your life and be ready to do the work. Remove the mask, admit that you got some stuff going on. We all have things going on in our lives that we need to work on. So remove your mask and let's start working on it. And
mask off. Y'all already know, mask off. Let's do it. I'm ready.
So think, grow, innovate, Consulting LLC.
Yes.
I love it.
It's the place where the behavior and your change kind of collides. I just knew I was more than a therapist. I'm here to help in all aspects. I also provide supervision. I take consulting. So I'm open to help make you better.
So many dimensions.
I know.
And I think I always say that you're the prettiest Marine that I know. Right?
Oh, that's very sweet.
I'm going to give you that. You are the prettiest Marine that I know.
Yo. Hey, if you Google, you'll see them old pictures when I got that gunny. They be like, oh, that's how you.
You're smiling now. You have on makeup now. So.
Hey, doing what you do. But hey, old times. And even in that journey, I'll leave this one note too. The transition out is difficult. It's not easy. Don't do it alone. And don't expect it to happen overnight. You have given many years of service. If you serve one day to 35 years, it takes time to heal that space in you that you were at that organization for so long. So take your time to do it.
Yeah, I learned that the hard way.
I was busy.
I think I'm still learning it. I am still adjusting to being a civilian. Like sometimes I forget. Like I just laughed at you because you just said Tango Golf Indigo when you you gave us your email address.
Well, I try to change it up so I won't be all military.
Courtney is here. She said, we discovered who you are outside of uniform. She just retired. So she definitely is resonating. Thank you for your service, Courtney.
Yes,
she's amazing.
It's a journey, but you are someone before you join. You're somebody after you complete your service. You just now have a little tag that says, thank you. thank you for sacrificing for the greater good of others.
That's right. I love it. So thank you for joining Hush No More Champions. Every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time, we have a special guest with us. Next week, 1 June, we're going to talk to Pele. She's going to talk about how to inspire others and how she was inspired herself. On the 8th, Jeff is going to come and he's going to talk about how can you heal using art, which I absolutely love art therapy and art therapy every week at 7:30 p.m. It's 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And on the 15th, we are going to talk about Morgan. She's going to tell us how she went from being a victim to being victorious. So we always have great conversations. July 17th, we are having a Hush No More yard sale as a fundraiser. If you are in Columbia, South Carolina, put that on your calendar. If you would like to join us and do a table, let us know. And on August the 7th, we are going to have a college forum. If you have children that are about to go off to college, that are in college, they need to attend that event because we're going to talk about what can happen in college as it relates to sexual assault, as it relates to drinking, as it relates to teen dating violence. We are going to have those difficult conversations to prepare your children to go off to college. So August the 7th, I am really excited about that one. So join us.
That'll be
Peace
good.
and blessings to you all. Thank you again, Dr. Liza. We really love you and I love you. And thank you for serving. And thank you for just saying, yes, I will support Hush No More. And that means the world to all of us because you're definitely added value. And when you have somebody of your caliber on the board, it makes a difference in the services that we provide. So
thanks,
Vanessa. To you.
Namaste.
Really Namaste. Look,
take care.
I'm gonna learn some yoga too.
Yeah, I got you. Y'all take care.